This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I'm your host, Gianna, and special thank you to Sphere Rocket VA for making these Icon episodes possible. And today we are getting to know all about Trevor Bigg. Trevor, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Excited to get to know you. And well, I guess let's just start at the beginning. You know, who is Trevor? What market are you in? Where are you from? And how did you find yourself becoming a realtor?
Perfect. So currently 27 years old, originally from Coquitlam, but living and working in beautiful Williams Lake, British Columbia. Williams Lake is a smaller community with a population around 11,000, I think, roughly 6 hours north of Vancouver. We made the move in about 2010. After high school, worked various jobs, lumber mill here and there. Started in real estate April of 2019 at the age of 24 with a local independent brokerage here in town. Finished spending a few years on the diamond drills in parts of Alaska and northern BC. That was actually kind of my motivation to get behind real estate is we did a lot of camp jobs. And so worked 30, 40 days in camp with only 7 or 10 days at home. So the whole idea was to be home more, which if you're a busy realtor, you know that wasn't necessarily the case. So transitioned to EXP about 13 months ago, starting March 1st of 2021. And I've been pretty consistently blown away with how the level of technology, the experience, the connection, just the overall business performance that EXP has been able to do for me has been pretty incredible. Obviously, being from a smaller community, the idea of a cloud-based brokerage was kind of took a second to illustrate to people because it's never been seen here, right? So it took a second, the whole cloud-based idea, but we hit some pretty incredible milestones last year with them that made it pretty easy to prove that EXP obviously works.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get into that here in this episode too. But, you know, Trevor, I am curious, like, you know, you did a little bit of industry hopping. Was EXP your first brokerage or did you make a transition?
Nope, made a transition. I started with a smaller independent brokerage here in town, which was awesome. I mean, just starting out, and especially in a smaller community, it was nice to be able to lean on peers and you know, have that more of a tight-knit connection. But as I started to kind of really grow my business and hit more of a higher volume of sales and everything, I was shown the ways of EXP by another realtor in Kamloops, actually. And it took me actually a little bit too, probably a good solid year of going back and forth with the whole cloud-based idea. But again, once I started seeing the success behind it and hopped on myself, I mean, yeah, it's been nothing but thumbs up ever since.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, welcome over to EXP. That's pretty exciting. And, you know, what about EXP, Trevor, makes you say, I am never leaving this place?
So, I mean, starting in March, we were able to hit Icon by November, which was phenomenal, especially considering that it's not a huge amount of time, but the amount of sales that we're able to create made the whole Icon idea very, very interesting, very satisfying for sure, because we should be able to hit that year after year. And that's a huge, huge interest for us. And then the idea of being able to be at home. We've got 3 little ones at home, all girls.
Oh,
yeah. So we stay pretty busy. And so the fact of just being able to do everything online and, you know, my office is with me 24/7. So it made that realm really easy as well.
absolutely. That's awesome. Well, congrats on the little ones. How exciting. And, you know, Trevor, obviously you're a busy guy. You're a dad. You're a real estate agent. You are part of EXP. You've got to give back to the culture, so much more. And I would like to know how you take care of Trevor, right? So where's your work-life balance? How do you recharge? How do you avoid a burnout mode?
So we have our morning routines, and I think a routine is kind of the most important thing. Wake up on a routine every single day, 5:30 goes off. Me and the wife, she works with me. She's actually not our unlicensed assistant. She does a lot of the background work. She does all of our, you know, a lot of the social media stuff, which works out awesome. So we're in the gym from 6 till 7, and then we do breakfast. We get the kids out the door, and then, you know, away we are. So I think probably avoiding burnout is just having that routine. Definitely, I'd say the first year in real estate, there is no routine because you don't know what you're doing. You're just kind of, you're just grasping at straws, trying new things. And so the burnout happens and it's real. And so if you can kind of embrace that and kind of recognize that you need a solution and a way to kind of avoid that burnout, then I think a stamped in routine is the best way to go about that.
That's a great point. Just that routine, as humans, most are creatures of routine, and that routine will help, get you going and increase your productivity. And I think that you've seen that. You're a prime example of that. And, talking about productivity, I'd love to hear a little bit about the production that you've done in your region of British Columbia, compared to, for example, an icon agent in Los Angeles, California, right? They've got to sell 4 houses at $1 billion trillion, and they icon, right? Compared to, Alaska, and they've got to sell 25 cabins. I don't know what it is, but it's a good gauge of understanding where you're at in your market for production. And I'd like to see, what benefits did you take away from the Icon Award that you've enjoyed most? And then how did you give back to EXP? Are you a mentor, coach? Are you teaching in EXP world? How is Trevor Bigg an icon?
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, living in a smaller city, it takes a lot more sales because our average sale price is a lot smaller. So I think currently our average sale price is somewhere around $350,000. So we did 50 sales last year for a total of 8.55 million. As a solo agent, we were pretty impressed with that. I mean, it takes a lot to hammer out 50 sales in a year. And our goal this year is 75. And year to date, we're at 10 sales. So first quarter is not bad. But yeah, hitting those numbers definitely takes a lot more paperwork. It's a lot more driving. It's a lot more clients. You're not focused on just trying to sell those 4 big properties, right? You're out there, you're really working. And I mean, we stretch a pretty far at distance. We're not just dealing with the Williams Lake core. We drive all the way, all out into the sticks, right? So it definitely takes a lot of planning because it's a lot more going into it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like full day commitments there with the commutes.
Yeah. So being a part of the community is a huge one because I mean, obviously to hit those numbers, you have to be selling stuff. You got to be selling 50 to 75 homes a year to hit those kind of production levels, right? So it's a lot of numbers to get. So being a part of the community is a big one too. We try to host events. We do a big garbage pickup every year. So we're hosting this year's Earth Day event within Williams Lake, which has turned out to be a really awesome turnout every year. Overall, we've just been really happy with the consistent level of production here in Williams Lake.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. And, just staying involved with the EXP, something about the culture that makes it so unique here is the best of the best, the icons, the top 2% of the brokerage are giving back and teaching into the EXP University, and all that access is there to marketing tools and classes and, breaking into different, I suppose, like luxury properties versus rental, investment, whatever it is. And so that's really cool, Trevor.
Well, and that's the other thing with EXP is like you're never bored. If you ever have a second, you could just go onto the EXP world and you could sit there all day, every day if you wanted and just absorb information on how to be a better realtor because there's somebody out there trying to teach you how to be a better realtor, right? So I mean, there's never any downtime really. I mean, if you're consistent with what you want to do, then you could find out anything pretty much in the university there.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, 150 hours of new training a week. It's insane and it's incredible at the same time. And, Trevor, I'd like to talk a little bit about maybe some newbies that are watching. They could be new to real estate in general. They could be new to the EXP world and have been practicing real estate for a couple of years. But they see that big shiny icon award. They see the best are doing it. Is that something attainable for them in their first year? Maybe what are some mistakes that you've made in attempting to become an icon agent, and just some advice for the new guys watching.
The best one would be to maintain a strong database. My first probably year and a half, that was where I lacked the most. And so I know for a fact I had a lot of buyers and sellers just kind of slip through the cracks because I'd get a text message and they didn't go anywhere. It would just stay in my phone. And I think that, top of mind would just stay top of mind, and I'd get back to them, and then you don't get back to them and you find out they bought and sold with somebody else down the block. So if you can maintain a strong database and then consistent follow-up, that's the biggest one. Consistent follow-up. Make sure you have a follow-up routine where you touch base within the 3rd day, within the 7th day, within the 10th day, whether you're touching base, once a week, once a month. There's got to be a consistent level of follow-up because that's how buyers find another realtor, is because somebody else is following up better than you are, right?
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of competition out there, but at the same time, it's cool to be part of EXP because it's like you're treated in a friendly competition manner where people aren't keeping the secrets to their chest. They want you to succeed. They want to see you do as much production, if not more than them. It's exciting. It's a good environment to be in, especially in a market like this.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you see in a lot of other markets that the top agents they're the top agents and nobody really talks about it, right? But I mean, here in EXP, you look at any of the top agents within our brokerage and they're all teaching classes on how to be just like them, how to do what they did. They're all kind of explaining step by step how they got to where they got to, and this is how you do it, right? So I mean, all you have to do is pay attention and somebody's there to kind of teach you how to do it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I like to tell people that EXP provides the bones, it provides the toolkit. You just have to get in there and you have to scale it up. Are you going to build your personal brand on top of EXP? Are you going to pick up the tools they've provided you and learn how to use them? You really have to be a self-starter, but once you get that going, it's got all kinds of amenities that you can really indulge yourself into and just become a hell of a realtor out of it.
Well, and I've told so many people, like, EXP gives you all the tools you need to be an awesome realtor. And then once you've succeeded, they give you all these rewards and all these gratifications for succeeding. And it's like they give you everything you need and then they pat you on the back for doing a good job. It's pretty awesome setup. Yeah, so the EXP world is the best one, I'd say. It's just the tools that you get, especially having our weekly meetings to be able to do everything online, to have a metaverse, so they say. It's pretty incredible. We do even so we've collaborated with a lot of other realtors from out of town, and we do Zoom calls once a week where we collaborate and have other ideas with agents from Vancouver and agents from Kamloops, agents from further north, down south. It's really been able to kind of, you connect all these different agents and they have all these different ideas and you're able to kind of mold all their ideas into one awesome real estate experience, right? And so that's the exciting part, is getting to hear all these other ideas that you normally wouldn't see within your one market.
No, you're absolutely right, and just being, proximity is power, right? So being around these powerful minds and taking it in and really leaning into your mentors, that can get you a far way here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listening to as many podcasts and they give you so much free information. And so if you have the time to soak it up, you'll learn so much with EXP.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like there's somebody had referred to it once as a cruise ship, right? There's so many amenities going on all at the same time. If you want to focus on Icon, that's great, which means you're probably not focusing on your downline at the moment. Or, if that's something you want to build first and then move on to Icon, or if you want to get in your social media training, there's opportunities to do that. You just have to pick what's best tailored to you and where you want your career to go at the moment.
Totally. And I think as a new agent, that should be one of the highlights, is just the education and the connection that you get right out of the gate. Because me as a new agent, I know that there are so many scenarios that kind of just get thrown on your desk and you don't know because you haven't seen that scenario, right? So, I mean, being able to just go on Workplace, or, being able to just go on the university and just ask whoever you want, whenever you want. And 9 times out of 10, there's 30 realtors from around the world ready to answer your question right away.
And they're so stoked about it too, right? They're excited.
Really, they're almost fighting over who's got, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's there to help each other be a better realtor.
Yeah, and create those connections. And a rising tide raises all boats, is what they like to say. And that really carries the culture here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, Trevor, let's also talk about it as far as, you said EXP wasn't your first brokerage. So that being said, if there's somebody out there sitting on the fence, they see EXP and the grass is greener over here, they see the stock options, collaborations, rev share, whatever it is, but they're hearing those rumors started by other brokerages like, oh, they're a cult, they're a pyramid scheme, you don't want to go over there. What would you have to say to somebody sitting on the fence?
Yeah, so I was that somebody sitting on the fence for a little while, because when it was explained to me the first time and the second time and probably even the third time, it comes off schemish, just because the way that it was probably pronounced to me came off kind of schemish. But being on the other side of it, I mean, there has not been a step in the way with EXP. There has not been a single level of their professionalism that's kind of caught me off guard. I mean, every single step has been over and above what I even anticipated. The technology, their core values, the Icon program, the stock exchange. I mean, every single level that was explained to me is now over and above what I even thought it was. It's completely blown all my expectations out of the water. So anybody who's kind of you almost can't even explain it well enough to somebody. They almost have to see it firsthand and kind of experience it, because as a realtor, like the technology that we're dealing with, I didn't even know was accessible, especially being from a smaller town. Like we don't see a lot of this big town stuff, right? So even when I joined in 2019, I had not even known about EXP. It wasn't even a brokerage I heard of. And it wasn't until my good friend down in Kamloops had signed on to EXP, and he was the first one out of our kind of group of friends. We have got kind of a real estate group of friends here, and he was the first one to go to EXP. And it wasn't until he was kind of being able to prove firsthand, the level of education, the level of effort, the level of efficiency, doing your documents through SkySlope and everything. It's just unreal. All of it's a very dialed in business, and proud to be a part of it.
100%. And, like you said, it's really hard to grasp and get a concept of until you're here and you're involved in it. And so for those listening right now, and maybe they're getting recruited by all the EXP agents, or maybe, Trevor's been hitting your lineup, ask Trevor to take you to a mastermind, ask Trevor to get you involved, ask Trevor to show you this firsthand so that, you're really seeing either what you're saying no to, or, what opportunity awaits you here at EXP, because the number one thing that I hear is, I wish I had done it sooner.
Yeah. Oh, and I can totally attest to that 100%, is that had I've only joined in 2019.
Right. And think about it, those who were, with the brokerage when there were 7,500 agents, right? And stock prices were stupid low. And they're like, man, I wish I would have joined sooner. They're like, my stock would be ridiculous right now. I'd be sitting so pretty after iconing all these times. And they're still sitting really pretty, but they kick themselves. And we just don't want you to feel the same way, saying, no, I won't go over to EXP. And then 3 months from now, you're like, I should have done it. And you're sitting there just stumped.
Yeah, there's so many different levels of between the awards you get, between the icon awards for your transactions, the agent accruing you could do, the stock rewards you get. Like there's just so many different levels of positive to it that it's hard to poke any holes at it.
Right. It turns into passive income, technically retirement, whatever it is that you're aiming for. EXP has made it possible. They've identified problems in this industry, and they are here to solve them all, which is incredible.
Yeah. And I think from talking to other realtors, everybody's biggest worry is not having that office connection, is not having the physical office space where you show up Tuesday mornings and you sit down with your coffee. And I'd say that that's completely false. I mean, I feel much more connected to my EXP agents than any other brokerage I've been in with. You know what I mean? I can talk to an EXP agent anywhere in the world right now, and they'll answer whatever question I have. I mean, that the amount of connectivity, and not only that, but the managing brokers have been so responsive. Anytime I've got a question, there's 1 out of 7 will send me an answer right away. So the connection is definitely there with working on a cloud-based brokerage.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like, when the world was taken in by shock by having to go to the remote world when COVID hit all those years ago, EXP just was business per usual. They've revolutionized the industry. They were ahead of their time. They continue to be ahead of the time, and it is not too late to jump on board.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
I think it's been an awesome episode today, Trevor. We're coming up on 20 minutes. Is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with, or anything that you don't want to leave unsaid?
No, I think all of that was great. My biggest thing would be that if anybody does have any questions about EXP, then just don't be afraid to ask, whether it be an EXP agent or just somebody who knows about EXP. There's so much to it between, the KV core, and there's so many levels to EXP that need to be explained if you have any questions. So definitely feel free to ask. Absolutely.
Reach out to Trevor, reach out to your local EXP agent, get involved. And Trevor, will you be making it to shareholders or EXPCon?
EXPCon for sure. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, I will be in touch before then, and we'll have to meet up, and I'll pick your brain a little more.
Sounds great. This was awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, Trevor. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Spear Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success, and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at spearrocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.